The drummer get wicked.
Hiya, Manic Bestia here. Tonight I'm talking about another fringe underground subgenre of an already niche offshoot of experimental Japanese music. Yes, I've done this before. In case it wasn't obvious, I'm a surface level Vocaloid fan. I don't have a Miku shrine, I only have 2 plushies and a poster, okay? I'm a complete amateur when it comes to the scene, which is why I'd rather talk about it on Wicked Tunes, instead of making a whole ass video about it, filled with misinformation and even more incorrectly pronounced Japanese names. For context, Vocaloid is an artificial singing voice synthesizer developed by Yamaha in 2004. It's sort of like text-to-speech, but with pitch and vocal inflections. I wouldn't consider Vocaloid as a genre on its own, but most music which uses the synths are J-pop and rock adjacent, as the software uses mascot characters inspired by Japanese idols. Vocaloids aren't very well known on my side of the globe, but in Japan, their popularity quickly skyrocketed, and now you can find them anywhere from major motion picture soundtracks to massive live stage performances. It's incredible to behold. And because Vocaloids aren't real people, none of them have to suffer what teenage pop idols normally go through, like harassment, abuse, and exploitation. Isn't the music industry just the greatest? I'm not talking about that today though. Instead, I'm going to recommend you some of the weird outside of Vocaloid songs that'll scare the hose and get you questioning your own sanity because I'm just quirky like that. So, let's begin. Kiichi is an artist I only recently discovered from YouTube recommendations, and they've quickly become a favourite of mine. They've been making Vocaloid music since 2007, which mostly consists of indie rock and electronica. Kiichi is actually a bit of an outlier on this list though, because their music is very typically J-pop most of the time. A lot of J-pop inspired Vocaloid songs end up sounding annoying to me though, because the harsh electronic vocals kind of clash with the instrumentation. But I think Kiichi is different. Their music is harmonically rich, using some incredibly well-written melodies layered on top of the electronic drum patterns, resulting in these really surreal and beautiful pieces of music that sound classically inspired. You can clearly hear how well-versed they are at composition, with how purposefully each chord flows into each other. This is especially true with my favourite song of theirs, Super Darkness. Kiichi uses the Kagamine lens synthesizer with both German and Japanese lyrics to make these really lovely harmonies which intertwine with each other during the bridge section. Its gentleness contrasts perfectly with the youthful, energetic instrumental. Another favourite of mine is The Ghost of Romantic Transceiver, a very elegant and melancholic song with elements of grungy early 2000s hip-hop sampling. The voice synth is perfectly mixed into the background, supplying the counter melody to the string sections. It's just such a great mood song. I'd suggest just going through their music on the Piapro website and just finding the ones you like. There's so many gems in their relatively small discography that I want more people to appreciate. I think Kiichi has the most normal music on this list. I've structured my recommendations to get exponentially more freaky and weird as we continue down the rabbit hole, by the way. Don't get me wrong, I do love regular pop Vocaloid sometimes, but artists like Kiichi who just take it that little bit further with their electronic instrumentation are the main reason I love Vocaloid music. It's openly weird and doesn't try to hide it. Kikuo is a famous artist in the Vocaloid scene, making some of the most incredible and crazy songs featuring Hatsune Miku. My favourite album of theirs is the simply named Kikuo Miku 6. It's a beautifully made experimental album fusing electronic dance with avant-garde instrumentation and expertly crafted effects. Seriously, this album is so much ear candy, it's gonna give your brain diabetes. The opening song, Hole Dwelling, is a little difficult for me to listen to on headphones because of how stereo it is. I think it would be better heard on speakers since it's mastered like an old Beatles song for some reason. The rest of the album isn't mixed this way, thankfully. Hear this with headphones and you'll see what I mean. Alright, now listen to it through your speakers. Trust me, I won't play any hentai noises. Oh shit, sorry. The album has this extremely surreal and dreamlike sound, warping and twisting underneath layers of sparkling noise and jazz. About halfway through the album is when shit really gets wild though, with the song Cotton Candy. If you've made it this far without turning back, it's already too late for you. I just love how this one sounds, honestly. I just find myself completely engrossed in all the intricacies. Maybe it's because I also know the difficulties of creating electronic music. I might have a different form of appreciation for spectacularly granular soundscapes like this. And right after comes my other favourite song, Festival of the Dark, which weirdly, in contrast to the opening track, works best with headphones because of how it uses stereo imagery effects to sound like the music is spinning around you in a whirlwind. It's like that shitty 4D audio trend from a few years back, but actually done really well. The song is also incredible, using these magical bell-like sounds and heavy electronic drums which take you on a drug trip through a Studio Ghibli film. Kikuo is also notorious for the song Gomene Gomene, which is a gruesome song about a child being eaten by her father, with a really fun dubstep stroke electro-pop instrumental. But if you weren't immediately turned away by the lyrics, then you'd be rewarded with some seriously funky tunes that still hold up to this day. Dynamically, this whole album pulsates with a somber but playful tone, and always with so many little details to keep your ears perked up, listening closely to what adventure you'll be taken on next. I also love the ending track. It's clearly got influence from Flume, but mixed with Kikuo's familiar melodic composition, coming together for a stunning ending to a fantastic album. Many people's first exposure to the creepier side of Vocaloid music would have been Calne Ca in 2009. Conceived by infamous artist Deino, the character's design is a mechanical insectoid version of Hatsune Miku. Her twisted and perverse form reminds me of Shinaka's 9, which I did a video on last year, and also the creepier robots from Portal 2, thanks to all the imagery of experimentation and laboratories permeating Deino's art. Actually, on that note, I think my childhood obsession with Portal 2 definitely had an influence on my love for Vocaloid music, especially the ones with a sinister undertone. Funnily enough, Portal 2 actually doesn't use any Vocaloid synthesis as far as my surface level research shows. I can imagine a lot of people getting confused by the difference between Vocaloid, Autotune and vocoders, because they can all produce similar effects, but Vocaloid specifically doesn't use any human singing as an input. It's all done out of the box. Calne Ca is what's known as a derivative fan creation, used by various musicians like P, Mathru and P. The music she's paired with often incorporates a lot of circuit-bent synth sounds and glitchy effects to reflect how she's like a Frankenstein's monster or something. And the lyrics usually consist of outlining the various ways in which she will kill and murder and eat you very much, which I'm sure Miku's rabid masochist fanbase appreciates. So because Calne Ca isn't a person herself, just a character, she's more of a platform for other artists to use in their own work, much like how each other Vocaloid has their own personality traits, which have been established by official sources and fan works over the years. I think my favourite music video is still the first one from 2009, featuring Sayakane's song, Machine Music. It's such an iconic and defining visual that helps solidify Deino's art in the Vocaloid fandom. I mean, the song is good too, but the mixing is a little too noisy for me, but maybe that's because I'm listening to it through a compressed 240p animation from 16 years ago. Seriously, you can't find this song anywhere but Nico Video and YouTube. It's like lost media now. I love that little thumbs up she gives to the screen. Calne Ca is a really cool piece of Vocaloid history, and is actually officially recognised by Crypton Future Media as a derivative. But I do wish she was involved with more experimental work overall. She has a better appeal to me than your average creepypasta character, because she was designed by an actual artist, instead of some teenager with a free trial of Photoshop making a dog smile. What the hell? Who let a literal baby make music, bruh? This shit crazy. Yes, Babuchan. I just discovered them this year and my god are they good. Exactly the kind of experimentation and hyper-surreal sound I want to hear from Vocaloid. Combining industrial breakcore with ambient harmonic orchestration, Babuchan's music is dramatic, exciting and slightly unsettling. A particular favourite of mine, Under the Deep, is this beautifully atmospheric piece with bubbling low-frequency movements rumbling beneath a tidal wave of expressive string sections and somber vocals by Hatsune Miku. I'd also highly recommend the song Resin for all you glitch music enthusiasts. It's another super moody and low-key melodic electronica piece with loads of sharp stabby drums and effects. It builds itself up violently over time, sounding like a depressed transformer who just found out their fembot girlfriend was shot to death by RoboChad. If you're a fan of atmospheric and down-tempo breakcore with an emphasis on powerful noise and emotional chords akin to the likes of Igor and Ruby My Dear, then you need to hear Babuchan, like immediately. Their music usually follows a similar structure, extremely atmospheric and a long introduction with mostly acoustic instrumentation, followed by a slow and intense build-up. Then, suddenly, everything unfolds, distorts, warps, explodes, and implodes as the drums are thrown towards you in a ferocious attack of the senses. Pianos, music boxes, and other childish instrumentation juxtapose the heavily distorted bass tones and stuttering percussion, with the recklessness of a single mother with septuplets. I think my favourite Babuchan album is Eel of Everyone. It's a relentless combination of heavy breakcore and gothic Vocaloid music, with disturbing undertones in every one of its notes. While not present on this record, one thing I don't like about some of Babuchan's work is their use of rap vocals, like in the track Sin Bloom. I'm not entirely sure why though, because I am a fan of the gore rap vocals in other breakcore albums, like Passenger of Shit's Surfing Down the Dunny. Maybe it's just the lack of the more guttural slam metal scream that's missing for me. Regardless of that, Babuchan is a seriously underrated breakcore and Vocaloid artist. While their work may seem playful and somewhat satirical on the surface, they're not afraid to twist your expectations and take a darker approach to their art with the intent to make you feel uncomfortable.
They want to kill you.
Maybe I don't like horror movies, but horror music has always been a fascination of mine, and Vocaloid music seems to bring something out in people. Probably because of how inhuman and soulless the singing sounds. I mean, maybe there's just an inherent disconnect and fear that people have towards a machine trying to imitate the soul of a human. So, yeah, I love this artist. I honestly hadn't heard much good Vocaloid music aside from Utsu-P, but when I first heard Soooo and their Happy Songs project, I was blown away at just how overwhelming the tracks were. As a huge fan of speedcore and symphonic black metal, this style immediately hit a chord with me, because for the first time I almost felt like this might be going too far now. I think my favourite thing about diving into obscure extreme music over the years is discovering tracks like this which smash through the boundaries of what you would even consider music anymore. At a certain point you'll find tracks so insane that it becomes almost comical, and that's what keeps me coming back to them honestly. It leaves a lasting impression for sure. Soooo has a small discography right now, thankfully, clearly advocating for quality over quantity. And as much as I love the noisy music they do, I find it works best when contrasted and blended together with the symphonies and melodies, like in Cherry Blossom Drops, Burning Spring, which is one of my new favourite songs from them. Happy Song used to be my favourite, but I feel like their music just keeps getting better somehow. Niall Hill was only released last month, and it's really grown on me tremendously for its use of harmonies and earthquaking drums. Even after all these years, it still feels like Soooo isn't holding back anything either. The music is extreme and doesn't take any compromises. It's just pure emotion. The way their music is mixed is really fascinating too. The maddening amount of harsh and overpowering sounds are all somehow tamed and brought back in the mix to avoid potential compression issues, leading to a quieter but overall much more enjoyable experience. A lot of amateur producers like to overcompress their mastered tracks, which just hurts to listen to, so it's nice to hear something so distorted and noisy given the space to breathe. It also means I can turn the volume up and immerse myself much easier thanks to all the dynamics in the mix. Great work. Big double thumbs up from me. Another thing I love about their work is it's extremely visual. Soooo makes optical accompaniments for all their music with extremely distorted and fierce visuals, which evoke the feeling that you're stumbled upon something you weren't supposed to see. The frantically oppressive tsunamis of what remains of the instruments fit perfectly with these animations. It's like a horrifying look into a schizophrenic mental breakdown. Wait, you mean you don't want to hear what that sounds like? Then never pass me the aux cord. Here we are, at the bottom of the iceberg where only the most truly depraved artists lie. Only here, on the deepest, dankest corners of YouTube, will you find the most maladjusted Vocaloid songs with disturbing lyrics and gory themes. So, if you're an angsty 12-year-old who's obsessed with "what if cute character was secretly fucked up, bro?" then you'll love these. If not though, viewer discretion is advised. So if you've lost all connection with the social dogma at this point, then let me introduce you to some of my favourites in this psychotic subculture. Starting with Rugrats theory, because I think it has a funny name and I love the sound of it. Despite the slightly overcompressed mix, it still has a super spooky atmosphere in the kind of fun Halloweeny way. I've already mentioned Gomene Gomene, but in a similar vein is Okashi no Lie and Forced Obedience, which both respectively have extreme lyrics that probably aren't allowed on the radio and may also put you on some sort of list by the government. Then we've got some really twisted stuff by Puppet P, known for their disturbing dissonant sound and creepypasta adjacent music. Their lyrics are a bit tamer than the previous songs, however. Finally, we get into the truly bizarre shit like and Yuki Kai. Almost completely atonal, the atmosphere of these songs is oppressive and distressing, where not a single Okay, that was fun. Since I don't understand Japanese, I can easily listen to these songs without thinking about the lyrics. I enjoy the instrumentation a lot of the time as they keep the experimental J-pop sound, just with more dissonance and minor scales. No, Miku, don't do it! Don't smoke David! Oh god, no! These songs are all fictional, I think, but they do like to play with real extreme subjects like cannibalism, rape, murder, and abuse. I like to see it as sort of an expression of vulnerability, however, instead of just senseless depravity for the sake of shock value. The rabbit hole of dark Vocaloid music was really fun to go down though. I found some great tunes thanks to people archiving them on YouTube. And I'm still finding great Vocaloid music all the time. So I may do a follow-up to this video in 10 years or something. Feel free to recommend me some in the comments too. All in all, from my limited perspective, the Vocaloid scene is a really cool, bizarre little subculture of artists with varying levels of mental stability. Don't worry though, Miku isn't real, she can't hurt you.